so I'm just going to say what everyone is thinking. I don't care that you're losing your food stamps. I don't care that you're losing your free medical. I don't care that you are losing your free housing. Now y'all are just getting a taste of what every other person is going through. I should not have to pay to feed you and your 9 children. I'll be the selfish one. My kid comes first in my eyes, not you. I'm going to give...
My food stamps went from $4,400 in food stamps every month to $38. What am I supposed to get with $38 with 6 kids?
We're going to be eating chili cheese dogs for Thanksgiving if we don't get food stamps this come November. 911 sent help for all of us.
I think a lot of people that are posting videos about losing their EBT or SNAP benefits are trying to get everybody else to feel bad. But honestly, all you guys are doing is just demonstrating why we need cuts to these programs, why we need work requirements or community service requirements to receive them, and how many people are really abusing the system. All you're
threatening to loot. Have you guys seen the genius videos yet of all the people who are threatening to loot stores if they don't receive their EBT benefits?
We have another Real Housewife of EBT. Check this out. Tell me what you think.
The truth is, y'all hating on me because I live rent-free and I can afford the luxuries that y'all dream about for me and my kids. I'm going to continue to buy my luxury bags while the government pay my rent. I'm going to continue to go on trips and do the things that me and my kids love to do while y'all struggle to pay for a grocery bill and I'm swiping my EBT card.
This right here, public assistance and public stupidity.
Donald Trump is the first president in our history to cut off food benefits, SNAP, for American citizens. Let me repeat myself. Donald Trump is the first president in 249 years to cut off EBT food benefits that benefit veterans, children.
Hello brothers and sisters. Now, it is estimated that around 17 to 18 million white folks are now losing their food stamps. Most of them are starving because they cannot afford basic needs in their homes. This is because of the hard economic times being experienced in the US. Now, they are regretting their vote. At the same time, you must remember they went ahead in their large numbers to vote for a person that was going to protect their interest. Now, everything the Republicans have turned against them. Let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
The administration will be taking away EBT next month. Yes, that's right. No food stamps next month. How do I feel about it? I don't care. But let me tell you why before you get your panties in a bunch. Let me explain myself. Number one, this is coming from a woman who was pretty much homeless and disabled, and my state still wouldn't give me food stamps. So I didn't get rich until this year. Secondly, y'all need to start thinking about it. They finna shut off food stamps the month of Thanksgiving. Let me tell you something. I don't need to depend on y'all for me to eat. And I don't think nobody else should either. Because look at the effects. They're just talking about taking food stamps away, and y'all are willing to act crazy. That quick. That quick. They got you that quick. I had seen one video. This lady was like, it's the taxpayer's job to take care of my kids. I thought if you pop them out, it's your job. Nobody told you to have all them kids. And if you can't afford a kid, you don't need to be having them. The government will literally give you free contraceptives. Free contraceptives. But then you want to take it upon yourself to go pop out 6 kids with 6 different niggas that don't want to take care of their kid with you, and then complain that all of us don't want to fucking pay for your food. That's who we're talking about. We're not talking about y'all who work hard and this and that and all that. I don't even know why y'all get offended when we say we don't care. This is not about y'all. It's about the ones who sit up and do all this stuff and then act like it's just our responsibility. Why is it my responsibility to pay my taxes so you can feed your 8 kids. Meanwhile, I gotta go work hard so I can feed my one? Nah, man. Then you got the super studious type people who are looking at it like, oh no, well, you know, the economy is gonna crash and now the groceries are gonna be even more high priced. Hey, well, we gotta do something. We gotta figure something out. Do y'all wanna have a meeting? What's the solution? Cause let me ask y'all this, and I want an honest answer. What was y'all gonna do if food stamps was never invented? Y'all just wasn't gonna eat? Y'all just wasn't gonna make way? What would you have done?
So I just received an email from my food stamp benefits saying that if the government shutdown lasts longer than this month, I will not be receiving any benefits next month. And it's like, this month is kind of already done with, so I don't really see the government opening back up before October's over. What I get paid equals to the amount of what my bills are. Just bills. So that doesn't include diapers and wipes, gas, food. It's just the rent, the water, the electricity, the cable, the internet, my phone bill, and my car insurance. That's the bill. I find myself left struggling to put gas in my car, buy diapers and wipes, and food. Luckily, I have food stamp benefits. So if I don't receive my food stamp benefits next month, it's like, and it's not like I'm like sitting around being lazy just collecting help from the government. I work full time. It's just everything's increasing except my pay rate. There's a lot of people that are in my situation that work full time and still cannot afford to buy food because your paychecks literally cover just bills. So me seeing that email in my phone just now kind of like blew my whole evening because I wasn't really believing the rumors. I don't really follow the news and all that. I mean, us moms always figure it out. We're always going to find a way. But it is kind of stressful, like having to now think about how I'm going to buy food next month. Plus all my bills that I can barely afford anyways.
I am personally glad that some of you are getting cut off from your food stamps next month because now you get to live like the rest of us who aren't getting handouts. Why is that the overwhelming response I'm starting to see on my FYP as we're finding out that food stamps are going to be cut off for next month? When people cheer on EBT or government assistance being cut off, they're missing the real issue. The question isn't who deserves to struggle more. It's why do so many Americans need to be on EBT or government assistance to survive? And even more importantly, why isn't our government system doing more for every single person to thrive and live with dignity, instead of making it to where we're just barely getting by? Millions of people in this country are hard working, yet they're still living paycheck to paycheck or living off of government assistance to make ends meet. That is not a reflection of the people failing. That is a reflection of their government system failing them. Instead of turning against each other in these times, we should be demanding better from our politicians. Bottom line is, our government system should be working for all of us, whether you're lower, middle, or working class.
Y'all don't want to hear it because y'all just want to dance, but the real reason why they are really going to cut people food stamps off is because once people miss that first payment, you know what's going to happen? And this is coming from somebody, I used to be on food stamps. When I moved into my first apartment, I was able to get them, and then they cut me off. So I haven't got them again because I make too much money. But what is going to happen when those people miss that first payment? A lot of people are going to magically get a nice little notice saying that they need to recertify. And what that means is until those people recertify and get reapproved, they're not going to get food stamps anymore. And you want to know why I'm saying this? Is because out of all the government shutdowns we have ever had, when have y'all ever heard of food stamps being shut off? They're doing that shit intentionally, and obviously it's going to fall on the Democrats because it's making it seem like, oh, all these people are going without food stamps or EBT or SNAP, whatever the fuck you want to call it, simply because of a vote, when in actuality they wanted to cut those people off anyway. But this is the easiest way to do it, because if those people go without the benefit entirely, they're able to comb through and see who should actually be on food stamps, who needs to recertify, who is making too much money, and all of those people are going to be pressed for time, because not only are they not going to be able to recertify in time to get their next month's payment, because once you miss a payment, that's it. It's not as if like, oh, once they vote and the government comes off a shutdown, they'll instantly get that payment. That's not how government assistance works. They have to wait until the next month payday in order to receive back pay as well as a continuance. Those people are not going to be getting food stamps anymore. I put my right hand to God that is what's going to happen to a lot of people. I can guarantee it. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because if you think about it, that is the easiest way to cut millions of people off of a government benefit without making it seem like that is what they are doing.
I know why I'm not having an aneurysm over people losing their food stamps on November 1st. Here's why. Some grocery shop because it go by faster. One of you. This what I pick and this what he picked.
Wow. They put some Cheez-Its in their cart. You know, I'm starting to get a little ticked off at this point, seeing all the people on social media attack EBT users. And I just want to start with saying that I used to be one of you. I literally used to be like this woman. And I was young and working at Food Lion. And I remember hearing a lot of, now I'm a conservative, I just want to say that I'm still a conservative, but I had conservative relatives who would constantly talk bad about, you know, the system, the EBT system and everything. So when someone would come into Food Lion and they would put all of their food on the thing and they would pull out of their EBT card and I was the cashier, I would judge them. I would judge them hard. And I would judge them super hard, and I would be all ticked off. I wouldn't be very nice to them, etc. Fast forward, after many, many years, I'm an adult, a mother with kids, and never dreamed of having to be single in my life. I ended up in domestic violence and ended up having to be a single mom for the first time. With multiple injuries from said situation, and that made it very, you know, almost impossible to work and make ends meet. And during that time, EBT, which I'm still in this period of time, was my manna, and it was very clear that this was my manna from the Lord. In other words, God had delivered me out of Egypt, and I was children of Israel, and I'm going through the wilderness, and I have manna. EBT is just like manna, because the manna fell from heaven every day. It was free. The children of Israel did not have to worry. They didn't have to pay for it. But it was not hot food. And remember, if you know anything about the Bible, the children of Israel started to complain because they wanted hot food. And I almost made the same mistake, and I started to make the same mistake because I couldn't take my kids to McDonald's. I couldn't take my kids to Pizza Hut when I wanted to, and everybody else does this. Everyone who's working, who's able to work and everything, they just take their kids to the fast food place.
I feel like anytime the government does some wild ass shit, it's not intended to hurt us. It's intended to see where the masses' minds are at and if they are still in control. Yes, it probably will hurt some people, but that is because of your mentality, not because of what they are doing. For example, how they took our SNAP benefits away. I feel like that was done intentionally for them to watch the reactions of the people and to see who is still living in a poverty mindset and who is not. That basically is meaning who is still asleep and who is awakened. Because 2025, all year this year, we've been going through a mass awakening. So they want to see who they still are in control of and who they are not in control of. There is literally a split between the people. There are a group of people panicking, living in a poverty mindset, talking about they're going to go stealing to feed their families because they're going to starve. On the other side, there's a group of people that believe that they're going to be okay. They're going to be able to afford their food regardless of the government assistance because money is just a number. There is no value. Money is energy. It is going to come to them regardless, no matter how hard they work for it or not. I feel like this is intentionally done just to see if they still have the masses controlled. And a lot of people are falling for it. I'm sorry, but me personally, I was on SNAP benefits. I was receiving food stamps, and I do have a full-time job, and I do work about 35 to 40 hours a week. But when they took my assistance away, immediately, I was not intimidated. I was not scared. I was not worried. I don't believe me and my family will starve because I know wholeheartedly that regardless of the fact, I'll be able to afford it somehow, some way, and I will make it happen regardless, somehow, some way. That's the side that I'm on because I'm awakened to the system. I know what they're doing is not going to work on me, especially since I've seen everything and cannot unsee it. I am consistently seeing a bunch of people in a poverty mindset, and it makes me so sad because that is where they want you guys. Y'all got to get out of that.
If you are naive enough to think that the pause to SNAP benefits on November 1st isn't going to affect you because you don't receive food stamps, I want you to hear this. About 1 in 8 Americans receive SNAP benefits. In fact, in Oklahoma, where I live, that's 1 in 6 people. So about 600,000 people in my state alone, Oklahoma, receive SNAP benefits. About 1 in 4 children in the U.S. receive SNAP benefits. But you're not one of those people, so you don't care. But hang with me. When those benefits go away, just about $9 billion in grocery spending vanishes. So you've got to be thinking about not just the grocery stores being able to stay open and pay their employees, but you have to think about the entire supply chain, trucks on the road, people who provide food to these grocery stores. $9 billion. Every dollar spent in SNAP benefits adds about $1.50 to $1.80 to the economy. So cutting those benefits isn't saving that dollar, it's taking away that $1.50 to your local economy. But you don't receive SNAP benefits, you don't work for a grocery store, you don't drive a truck, you don't give a shit. But when all of those things happen, the only way to combat that is to drastically increase the price of groceries. Grocery prices are already up over 3% in 2025 alone, which is almost an entire percentage higher than the average increase in grocery prices over the last 20 years. I thought they were supposed to go down day one, though. So even if SNAP benefits only pause for 1 month, which, by the way, would be detrimental to all the people I mentioned before that you don't give a shit about, it will cost the economy roughly $13 to $14 billion in profit. And you can expect your grocery prices in just that 1 month to go up at least 1%. And states will stand to lose about $300 to $500 million in sales tax revenue. So even if you do not receive SNAP benefits, you never have, you never will, you do not want these to be paused on November 1st.
Things are about to hit the fan in November for tens of millions of families. If you are in New York and you get an EBT and you get food stamps, you're not going to get it in November. There's a very high chance you're not going to get it. In fact, there's a high chance that if you try to use your card now for whatever you have left in October, it's not going to work. My mother has food stamps and she still has a balance. And if you know, then you know you got to freeze and unfreeze your card with the EBT Edge app, right? Because there's a lot of hackers. And we learned the hard way. So she calls me to unfreeze the card. The card is unfrozen. She has a balance and she goes to buy eggs and milk. She got to pay $30 out of pocket for a little bit of groceries because the card would not work. Mind you, she had a balance on the card and it was not frozen. So that's another issue. I don't know if they're talking too much about that, but yeah, so that's scary because I can imagine the millions of families with children and the elderly who depend on getting groceries. Crime is going to go up. Robberies with a deadly weapon, assault, mental health is going to explode because people are going to be stressed out of their mind. What am I going to do for money? I don't work. I need food stamps. I need this. I need to feed my children. I need to feed my mom. Like, so many things are going to be happening, and my job is about to get a lot worse. I anticipate it for the holidays, for November and for December. The amount of cases that we're going to get in for neglect, when it's not neglect, when it's because of the government shutdown and shit like this happening where people are not getting food, it's not going to be on the parents. You feel me? So it's about to get rough out here for everybody. And my heart breaks for what the hell is happening out here. Right? This is out of our control. We don't run anything now. Benefits will be lost. You have to stay vigilant in these streets. Because if you're taking the train and let's say it's a month into this, right? Let's say it's a month into this, matter of fact, November 1st to December 1st. Now, the 2nd or the 7th or whenever people usually get their food stamps, November goes into December. And in December, you still don't get no food stamps. The holidays are going to be extremely taxing on a lot of people, emotionally draining. No support from deadbeat baby daddies or baby moms or whoever in your family is not really supporting you, and you got food stamps and now you're struggling. Where am I going to get money? Everybody's going to run to the pantries. Everybody's going to run to all of these places. The lines are going to be, you thought the line was long before? You're going to be getting crumbs at the end. You're going to be getting like 2 or 3 little things, like maybe a cucumber, if you're lucky. So people have to realize that the shit is going to hit the fan very soon. And how do you maintain your cool and lower your anxiety when these things are happening and it's out of your control? Right? We're going to see an increase in mental health decline. We're going to see an increase, and I'm sorry to say it like that, in suicidal ideations, teenagers leaving school because now they got to go and get a job and help mom and dad because, there's no food. We are going to see all of it. And I'm going to have to start giving my mother money so that she can do groceries. Because how's she going to do groceries without her food stamp? She don't work. She's 65 years old. She's disabled. How she's going. So it's like all of these things that people have to start planning and preparing now. Make a list out, right? Make a list of what you really need to protect yourself. Buy that Ring doorbell camera now. If you've been hesitating on getting cameras for your apartment for safety, buy it now. You know how many people are going to be robbing, assaulting people, doing whatever they can to get that money? You could do, people see you walking outside with groceries, you better download Instacart, okay? If you have a credit or debit card, Cash App, whatever, you better download Instacart, okay? Because if you go, I can visualize it now. Mind you, I work in Harlem.
Quick little PSA to all of my grocery store workers. In the event that the government actually goes through with it and does not issue food stamps for the month of November, which is also the same month that Thanksgiving falls in, please keep one thing in mind. Trying to catch somebody stealing, trying to prevent somebody from stealing, reporting somebody for stealing is not beneficial to you at all. You are not going to get a raise. You are not going to get a bonus. You are not going to get any extra money by trying to stand in the way of somebody who is trying to take food to feed their family. Stand to gain absolutely nothing by turning into the supermarket superhero of the day trying to catch people stealing. Please do not put yourself in any harm's way to protect a company's inventory inventory that does not belong to you. While I'm not condoning or suggesting for anybody to do anything illegal at all, what I am saying is that people are going to feed their families one way or the other. So just don't be that person that decides to go above and beyond their job duties just to prove a point to a company that could care less about you. That's it. That's all. You don't want to fuck around and get packed out in the parking lot because you decided to put on your Mighty Morphin fucking Power Ranger pants that day and catch people stealing when it's not your shit.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really do hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching this video from. Now, we are seeing a lot of white supporters or the white MAGA folks who went ahead to vote for the same government. They are losing their food stamps. It is estimated that around 17 to 18 million voters have already lost, or they are on the verge of losing their food stamps. Do you know most of the people have been depending on this during hard economic times like the one being experienced in the US at the moment? And it must not be forgotten that during the election period, most people wanted to vote a fellow man, their fellow person who was going to make them great and who was going to revive the economy, a person who will care most about them and their interests, as someone who was going to revive privileges and supremacy battles. Now, that's not whatever is happening at the moment. Most of those people who thought that they were going to vote for a person who was going to revive the economy, make things great on their side, and make sure that they are not starving or going bankrupt, they did mistake that, because most of them can't even afford basics. You talk about food, you talk about shelter, you talk about education, and those that are very basic needs in life have become luxury at the moment. Most of the people feel like the tariffs that were imposed to other countries are actually directly affecting their lives. Most of the people who depended on foreigners to work for them, or the immigrants to work for them, are now forced to go to work on these same fields by themselves. They are forced to go to the farms. Most of the foods in the farms went bad. Most of the crops got rotten. Most of the laborers have been deported by ICE. This only makes it hard for them. Now, most of those who cannot afford food, most of those who cannot afford basic commodities have been depending on food stamps or snaps. But what is happening at the moment is something that no one saw it coming. That a lot of MAGA voters or supporters, or even those who didn't vote for the same government, have now been affected. Most of them have lost their food stamps. And it is not a joke, because we are talking about livelihood. We are talking about the whereabouts of our children, of our brothers and sisters, of our mothers, of our fathers, And when this topic is being talked about, when the Republicans are slashing out Medicaid, they're slashing out healthcare, this only means that the greater people, or the greater percentage of the people, are going to live in poverty. When insurance covers are hiked, the prices go up, and the common citizen cannot afford it anymore. And it only remains for the rich, who are now finding it so easy to survive and thrive in the US. That means we are losing the focus. That means the US government is losing its focus. Most of the people who have actually been advocating for the same policies, those who voted thinking that deportations were going to help them, most of them are now regretting it. How many times have we seen MAGA reactions out here? How many times have we seen MAGA voters dropping the MAGA hashtags? Now, this is the favoritism. And in most of the cases, we actually lose ourselves because of the emotions we have and go to the ballot to elect someone not because of the track record, but because we think the previous regime or those in the government at the moment are doing worse and we do not need them anymore. So even if it's finding a worse replacement, it is better. And when this happens, in most of the cases, we only regret a few months after the person has been sworn in. How many times are we going to repeat the same mistakes? Now, the white folks, most of them are now regretting, not because of voting for Trump or for voting Republican, but they are regretting for the policies they voted in. They did not take heed of other people's advice. They never listened. They actually acted as if the person was not going to be voted to or the world was going to end, that the US was going to collapse. Here we are today. Deportations have happened. Yes, I do not actually contradict that. It is good for a country to remain with its legal citizens. But have you ever asked yourself who built the US? In most cases, you're going to find out it is not the US citizens who built their own country. You must read a lot of journals to understand that a lot of the people, or most of the people who built the US and Europe, were not even from Europe. They were not from the US. These were either immigrants or the slaves, I mean. And it is during the slave period that we had all these countries doing good with the economy. It is during the slavery period that we've had the US become a superpower and Europe become a supercontinent. It is during this slavery that they realized they could get free labor without paying, and that boosted their industrial revolution, which was a game changer to their economies. Now, that explains why I'm saying none of these people built their own countries or their own continent. So when they're fighting immigrants, they must be very careful. After looting everything from Africa and the rest of the world, they made them poor, they made them beg, and they made them suffer. The only option they had was to get a visa and travel to the US and to Europe to look for a better job. They diminished Africa. They deemed Africa in a way that it became useless to its own people. The mineral resources were gone. The leaders were under captivity. The people themselves were under the 24/7 surveillance of the Western system. No one should talk and no one should question them. Any leader who arises and questions what they were doing to Africans, he was named a dictator and later on taken down. The likes of Muammar Gaddafi, I do not say the man was perfect, but you must be very careful on how you argue with the topic of dictatorship in Africa. It is always dictatorship when it comes to your country's first interest. It only be named a dictatorship when you don't listen to whatever they say or implement their policies in your country. But it becomes democracy when you can unalive your own citizens and listen to their policies and implement them. It doesn't matter who is going to be taken down, it doesn't matter the number. You become a democratic leader, a leader who follows the rule of law when you listen to them. But when you don't, it doesn't matter whatever good you do to your people, they term it bad and they term it dictatorial. We must be very careful. This is whatever has made the white America and Europe a superpower and supercontinent, respectively. But you must also remember that when you're going to vote, don't go to vote with a lot of emotions. Emotional control is whatever will determine your selection or your type of a leader. Be very careful. You are losing today food stamps. Who knows if you will be losing your lives tomorrow? Be very careful and make sure your unity is intact. Do not be distracted by whatever is happening at the moment. Brown, black, white, red, unity is needed. Thank you so much. May you really have a good time, and may you always think twice before you make any decision. I'm going to leave you with that much. Thank you.